Hello, thanks for being here and watching. I want to tell a dream that I had early this morning. Today is September 17th, 2024, and I woke up from this dream at 3:56 a.m. When I woke up, I felt as though I had slept all night, and I was quite disturbed from the dream. I'm not going to say for sure that this is from the Lord, but I did wake up from it. I had to kind of like walk around my room a little bit, thinking about it, praying about it. I do not think it was just your typical nonsense dream at all. This is not something I would conjure up in my own imagination. So it could very well be from the Lord. The message that can be found here, whether or not it was from the Lord, there is a message that can be obtained from it regardless. So, in the dream, I am standing. I can see it in my mind, but it's hard for me to describe. I am standing kind of on the ledge of a large stone bell tower. And it's like the bell is hanging up here, a large bell hanging up here. And then there's like this open space right here with like a platform under it. Meanwhile, there's the whole column that surrounds the bell. But there's like an empty space right below it where, I don't know why anybody would want to stand there, but, it was just like a flat space. Well, I was standing on like that flat space, and somebody made the announcement to be aware that the bell only rings, and I can't remember if it said once a day or twice a day. Even in my dream, I was saying, did they say once or twice? And we understood you did not want to be standing under it or around it when it rang, because it would just be too jarring. So I like walked along the edge and kind of made my way down from it. And then I was instructed to go into this lobby of this building, and sorry, I was getting a phone call. And I was instructed to go into this lobby of a building, and there I would find a fake tree on which were a bunch of envelopes were hanging on this fake tree, and I was to find the envelope with my name on it. So I did, and I found the envelope with my name, and then I read two things very clearly on the envelope below my name. It said, "Be sure to wear sunglasses when looking at the sky on Saturday." Whatever that means. And then it gave information indicating that I was scheduled to be taken captive and shipped off to Ankara, Turkey, the capital of Turkey, Ankara. I remember seeing very clearly the word Ankara, which I know to be the capital of Turkey, and then I knew that I was going to be taken there. Against my will, like I didn't have a choice about it. And my husband and son were there, and we looked for their envelopes, and their envelopes said they too were destined for Turkey, for Ankara, Turkey. And so I looked for my daughter. Remember, my daughter's autistic with unspecified mental retardation. And she had an envelope, but also hanging there was one of her favorite dresses. She likes dressing up in a Dorothy from Wizard of Oz dress. It was hanging there. And it did not say she was scheduled to go to Ankara, to Turkey, like the rest of us. It says she was scheduled for extermination. And then, I'm sorry, I had a knock at my door. But anyway, it says she was scheduled for extermination. And then I found myself with two women I went to college with. They were friends of mine. They still are, but I haven't seen them forever, in over 20 years. But anyway, I told them about going to Ankara. We were discussing it. And I said, remember, Jesus told one of the churches in the book of Revelation that they would be put in prison for 10 days. And this is probably what that is going to be there for 10 days. But I wasn't sure, but I remember thinking, I can hang in there for 10 days. And that was it. I woke up and it was 3:56 a.m. I don't know. I can't imagine. I just know I did not conjure this up in my own subconscious. You know how dreams can be. I don't think I did that. Was it the enemy trying to discourage or scare me? I don't think so. I really don't think it was that. But let's just go ahead and read that passage from Revelation. This is Revelation chapter 2. It's a message to the church in Smyrna. I'll get back to that. Write this letter to the angel of the church in Smyrna. This is the message from the one who is the first and the last, who was dead but is now alive. I know about your suffering and your poverty, but you are rich. I know the blasphemy of those opposing you. They say they are Jews, but they are not, because their synagogue belongs to Satan. Don't be afraid of what you are about to suffer. The devil will throw some of you into prison to test you. You will suffer for 10 days, but if you remain faithful, even when facing death, I will give you the crown of life. Anyone with ears to hear must listen to the Spirit and understand what he is saying to the churches. Whoever is victorious will not be harmed by the second death. We know the second death is your eternal state, or the eternal state of those who are not found in Christ Jesus. So there we have it. Now, it's interesting, Smyrna was an ancient city in Turkey. It was along the Aegean coast. It was a hubbub of activity, as most of the coastal cities were at that time. It is now called Izmir, something like that. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce these words, but Izmir, I think that's the modern day name of the place. It, however, is west of Ankara, Turkey, the capital. Ankara is kind of pretty much central Turkey, and Smyrna is to the west of it. Now, Ankara was what in Bible times considered the Galatian region, the region of Galatia. We know that Paul wrote a letter to the church in Galatia. And it was named something else that I can't pronounce at the time. The Ankara, the city, was named by the Celts, or is it Celts? And it to mean anchor. I'm just throwing out information to see if it's at all relevant to the dream. That Ankara was also an important route on the trade route, an important city or location on the trade route. They processed different goods, including wheat. That sort of thing was processed and sent through there on its way to the east. There was great persecution to the Christians in the Galatia region by a Roman emperor. I forget the names. But it was for a while, around the 4th century, it was a pretty active Christian community. And they did, of course, suffer persecution, as many Christians did there in the Roman Empire. So, I'd love to know your thoughts on this dream. To me, the whole bell thing is confusing. I guess the message that I get from this is that, some people say that these letters to the churches represent churches throughout history, and so it's very possible that this letter to Smyrna happened at some point in the history where believers were cast in prison for 10 days and saw great suffering. Others believe that these churches represent the churches here in the very last days before the tribulation period begins, before the time of Jacob's trouble, while we're still at the tail end of the age of grace or the age of the church, and that these churches represent a little bit of all of us, and so some of us could actually go through that. We, of course, know that there are people, brothers and sisters throughout the world who are persecuted very heavily. I found it interesting that, we were going to be shipped there, and of course, it's no surprise that they would schedule my daughter, who is special needs, for what they had her scheduled for, so yeah, I'm very interested. If anyone has any type of interpretation, take it to the Lord. Like I said, I am not 100% certain it is from Him, but the fact that I woke up, I immediately remembered it. I immediately felt the weight of significance upon me, if you know what I mean. You just know. When you wake up and it's a complete nonsense, and you tend to just kind of disregard it and forget it. But no, this stuck with me. And I prayed to the Lord. I was like, if this is from you, maybe give me some sort of confirmation. And I went back to sleep, and I had another dream, but in that dream, I was telling Joey this dream. So it was like I was retelling the dream in my second dream. So I don't know, but I would be interested if anyone has any thoughts and comments about this. Please let me know, and thanks for your time. Bye-bye.